Welcome to India. My first question to you is about this understanding between you and the Prime Minister, Mr. K.P. Oli, that there is some sort of an agreement about sharing the Prime Ministership. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's correct. Without having some sorts of understanding, how can the party merger could happen? We are having some ideological understanding, political understanding, organization, and strategic understanding with each other. Without having such an understanding, this party merger would not been possible. Therefore, it is true. We are having an understanding.
So, am I speaking to the next Prime Minister of Nepal?
You can imagine like that,
okay,
but it is not the issue. We are having a strong government after so many years of ups and downs. We created an atmosphere of political stability in Nepal. Now we want to focus our whole attention in economic building, economic development. Prime Minister is not the issue for us.
Could have a division after 2.5 years. Is that correct?
It's not like that, you know. Okay. We are having an understanding, but it is not like that 2.5 years or something.
I see.
Yeah, you know.
Okay.
It's not correct.
Okay, but there could be a division of power.
Yeah, there could be. According to our previous understanding, we are moving forward, but our focus is stability and development. You
are now the chairman of the Nepal Communist Party. How is it different this time from previously when you were Prime Minister?
I think that this time we implemented the basic and fundamental issue of our constitution, the Constitution of Federal Democratic Republic. We successfully hold 3 rounds of election, local election, provincial election, and general election, federal election. And people gave a very encouraging mandate to NCP, to our party. After more than 70 years, we are having a strong left and progressive government. Therefore, we should have to deliver in every aspect of social life. We are focused on this issue.
Sir, I want to ask you about the Madhes. There was a lot of tension, as you know, in the Madhes, especially on there was a blockade also, and people in Nepal also said that India had inspired this blockade. What is your comment?
I think that now it is going to be the history. Now Madhesi peoples are very actively participate in the election, and they supported the constitution, fundamental parts of the constitution. I myself, in my second terms, I tried my best to create a conducive atmosphere to bring them on the board, and I also tried to address their genuine demands. And the process of amendment of the constitution has already been tabled. Therefore, right now there is not such a issue of Madhes and mountain and something like that.
The amendments to the constitution in terms of proportional representation, in terms of citizenship rights, you think that will be taken forward?
Yeah, exactly. We are not having any differences on the issue of citizenship, and the Madhes Center party and our party has already reached to a understanding, and we have signed an agreement.
Do you regret the years when you were in the insurgency, when so many thousands of people were killed? What do you think about those years?
I think that we are having a very unique experience of the revolutionary movement and peaceful parliamentary movement. At that time, we were forced to resist the government and the ruling class, you know.
The Raja.
The Raja, particularly the monarch, you know. They were trying to cross all the fundamental rights that has been given in the even in the constitution, and in rural area, particularly in the western part of the country, in the very remote area, serious state terror was there, and people were forced to resist it. If they would not have resisted it, a kind of autocracy will be consolidated. Therefore, it was historically necessity. I have not any regret.
So you don't think there could have been a democratic alternative without so many people?
If there will be a democratic alternative, then there is not necessary to have any kinds of violent resistance.
In your
we raised the issue in the parliament.
Your relationship with China is becoming warmer and warmer at the cost of India.
It's also completely wrong. The relation between India and Nepal and the relation between Nepal and China cannot be compared. We are having a very unique relation with India. Our history, our geography, our culture, our language, everything's open border, our economic ties, activities, whole lifeline is directly connected with India. And with China, there are so many differences. Here in India, people have a kind of confusion or illusion. Sometimes I think that people have unnecessary confusion is there. Okay. Because China, in border, there is a Himalayan range. It's not so easy as India. No open border, you know. We need so many documents and so many things. It is very difficult to understand with each other in public level, in people-to-people level. There are so many hurdles.
Do you feel that this open border should remain?
It is not so easy to close the border, you know. This historical and people-to-people relation and all these things.
But it seems
like we should have to regulate it. Trans-border crime and so many things are there, the smuggling, that kinds of negative things. To control it, both the government, both the country should come together.
Does that mean you have to have identity cards? You want identity cards?
Yeah, some sorts of notice and some sorts of records should be there. It has already been initiated. Our two prime ministers have already been agreed to have some sorts of regulation.
When did they agree?
They have already agreed 2-3 years back. Only regulation is quite necessary. It has already been agreed upon.